Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa and I'm the Carbootcrafter, and carrying on with my Funfold Friday theme, today is my Funfold Easter card. So let me show you how I'm now. So this is not the cards, this is my workings out, but this is the base of it. So as you can see, it's a gatefold card, and then in the side, in the middle, you've got that sort of peepo mechanism inside that reveals a picture or whatever you want to put in the middle. I'm doing this as an Easter card, but obviously you can do it whatever way you like. So those are all my measurements, but I'll be giving them as I go along anyway, so don't worry too much if you haven't caught them. So you start off with an A4 piece of card, UK A4, and the first thing you're going to do is cut off that pesky 1/4 of an inch there, and we're going to make it 11.5 inches across. We're going to keep the width, but we'll get rid of that 1/4 of an inch in there. It just makes the maths and the working out a little bit easier. Then you're going to bring in your scoreboard, and if you've got one like this, which is every 1/8 of an inch, that makes life a lot easier. But what you're going to do is you're going to put it up, and you're going to score at 2 7/8, which is just, so there's my 3, it's the one below my 3. So go to 3 and go down 1, and then score, whoops, score all the way down like that. Then rotate it. I found it much easier to do it this way than to try and do the measurements up that end. Then buff it up to the top again, and then again go to that one below the 3 and score all the way down. What we're creating is a gatefold card. So I can pop that to one side, and we're just going to fold it to create our gatefold. So there's one side, there's the other, and we now have just a regular gatefold card. There we go. Right, so I'm going to pop that to one side until we need it again and bring in the next bit. So you'll need a piece of card that is wrote it down and lost it. So this is 9 inches that way, 9 inches by 4 3/4 inches across, and this is going to be our panel that goes in the back here. So what I've done is I've grabbed one of my 3-inch dies, and I've cut out a 3-inch circle, which I'm going to put to one side because I don't need it, but I might use it in another project. So let's pop that to one side, and this is our bit that is where we look through. So that's this bit, the aperture there. So that's that. I'm going to bring in my scoreboard again, and then what I'm going to do is score at 1/2 inch along the long side, turn it round and score 1/2 inch again on the other side, and fold that down and reinforce that, and the same that end. Nice and simple, much easier to do than you think. There we go. So there's that. Then we'll also need 2 pieces of card. Now these 2 pieces measure 4 inches by 3 1/8. Let me just double check that for you. So 4 inches across by 3 1/8 width. Okay, so 2 pieces exactly the same, and all you're going to do exactly the same, score these at 1/2 inch at one end only. So there we go. So those are both scored. Pop that out the way. I'm just going to fold that over and crease that down, and these are going to be our 2 side mechanisms to create the peepo effect. Okay, so now we've done that, what we need to do now is cut out that shape there, that triangular shape there. And to do that, you're going to create yourself a little template. Get yourself a piece of scrap card and cut it so that it's 2 1/4 inches by 2 1/4 inches, and you get that square. And then the easiest way I find is to put them up together like that. Pop that. What you want to do is line up, if I overlap it a little bit like that, you want to butt up that corner there on the angle like that, and this corner there like that. So making sure that your score lines are on the outside. Pop it, line it up very carefully, and then pop that down so that that point is, I do it like this, you can do it whichever way suits for you. You can do it individually, one at a time if you prefer. And then I'm just going to very lightly with my pencil make a mark like that. And then I'm going to grab my scissors and cut that out. Where are my nice and sharp scissors? There they are. So going from that point, just following that line and cut that. And the same this side, to create a nice sharp triangle there. So let's just get that gone. There we go. So there's one side, and then the same on this side. Right, I'm a little bit off track. Let me just check that. That's pencil line is very faint there. So let's just pull that back and double check. There we go. That's our other side done. Right, there we go. So that's our mechanism now that we're going to use to open and close inside our card. And I don't need that anymore, but I'm going to keep that because that's going to come in handy for when I do another one later on. So let's pop that out the way, get rid of my pencil and those two bits. Okay, and now I can start putting it together. Quick and simple as that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my panel and I'm going to pop it down in the middle where I want to glue it. I've got it the wrong way round, just so as I can, makes life a little bit easier when lining everything up. And then again, grabbing my pencil, I'm just going to make a mark on the back of the card so that I know where to place my my mechanism. Okay, so you can see, hopefully you can see my circle there. So these now have to go over that circle to make sure that it works well. So I'm just going to reinforce these crease marks. I hope this paper is very white, which is a bit odd, but you know, I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm just snipping off a tiny little piece on both sides like that, just so that the mechanism isn't seen. And I'm going to do the same with this one. Just a very tiny little amount off that corner, tiny little notch. As you can see, it is incredibly small, but it's just enough so that the mechanism, or the glued down part of the mechanism should I say, isn't seen. So let's get rid of those out the way. Okay, so I'm going to grab my glue, and I'm using wet glue because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. Right, and I'm just going to put some glue on that panel there. Just very carefully wiggle it along. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my spreader and spread it out all along there. And then, right, let me just, if I put a pencil line here, so you can see my pencil line. So that's my score. That is where my card folds. There. So what I want to do is, actually if I use this piece that I haven't put the glue on, what I want to do is buff it up like that and then bring that across. But I've got to line it up like that first, because what I want is for this part to glue onto this side of that score line. Don't want it on this side for the mechanism to work. So I'll pop that there, open that up, and what I need to do is make sure that I'm covering over this circle when I do it with my card, because if you remember, that is where I want my mechanism to cover over. Okay, now it goes quite a long way over, but don't worry about that, because that 1/2 inch score will take that into account. So bring that back and my mechanism will sit like that. Okay, could have done with being slightly further up. And let's bring it back. Put a little bit more glue on there and try that again. So again, making sure, should have done it in contrasting colours really, shouldn't I? So making sure that that is there, like that. Bring this over, glue it into place, like that. And there we have our first part of the mechanism. Push that down. Right, I'm just going to bring my rubber in, because obviously I don't want to have that don't want to have that showing. Now this will be a cross, so the little bit of a red mark isn't going to bother me too much because it's underneath, but it was that little bit of pencil mark there that would have bothered me. Okay, so I'm going to bring my other piece in, and again I'm going to just put glue on that part like that. There we go. And again, I'm going to use my spreader just to spread it all over, and I'm going to line it up with this piece like that. Buff it up to my crease there, make sure that those are both lined up, and then bring that over like that. Okay, oh, there we go. Whoops, that's slid. Let me just make sure that that's all lined up with that piece. Yes. Okay, and then bring that over like that. Okay, so that's the first part of that done. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to pop that over the top, and that will hold everything down and in place like that. Oops, there we go. It'll hold everything in place. You should have the tiny bit of an overlap, so just make sure one's above and one's below on there, and that should work perfectly. Now then, I've chosen this adorable little bunny as my topper to go on the front of my card. So what I've done is the absolute bottom layer I've kept back, because this is going to be what hides under there like that. So I want to make sure I've placed him right in the middle there like that, and I'm going to glue him down. It is a little bit off centre, but don't worry, because that's going to cover it over. So I'm going to put some glue on the back. You can put a sticker there, you can use a picture like I am, anything you want. You could even put a greeting, happy birthday, happy Easter, whatever's going to work for you. Let's move that out the way and pop him back in. I might have to do a little bit of wiggling, so I'm not going to push him down just yet. No, actually that's not too bad. There we go. Let's open those both up. I can push that down, and then we end up with Bunny in the middle like that. So you can just see him. Don't worry about that, because this piece, the panel, is going to cover it over. So there's our Bunny ready to hide away. And then I'm going to bring my panel. So the panel that we've got our circle in, we've got these two pieces that we scored earlier. Those are at 1/2 inch, and these are the bits that we're going to glue down. We're not going to glue the rest of it because it needs to be a bit loose so that this moves around. So I'm going to start at the bottom piece. I'm going to put some glue just on that bit there. So, and again using wet glue so that I've got a little bit of wiggle room when I start putting it all together. So, fold that down. What you want to do is make sure, now you've got a good gap either side on this, so you want to make sure that your gap is even on both sides like that, but also that this is within that circle. So I need to move it up ever so slightly. There we go. So that's the bottom. That's why I do it one at a time. It just makes it a little bit easier for you to line everything up without trying to glue down both sides together. So there's that piece, and then I'm going to pop some glue on here and glue the top down. I'm going to pull it so it's not tight, but so that it's nice and smooth down onto the base card. So make sure it's all nice and smooth and that these two are all lined up properly. Then flip that under like that and crease that down, and make sure you hold everything in place while the glue takes a second or two to grab and start to dry in place. Okay, so now we've got our bunny captured inside, and when I close it over, you see he starts to hide. I'm just going to fold that down and open it up, and he's revealed. Okay, so that's our mechanism sorted like that. Let's just make sure everything's all lined up and ready to go. There we go, and it's running nice and smooth like that. And then we've got our panels to go on the front. So I've chosen, as I said, I've already chosen the bunny, and I've got Happy Easter. So I've cut this out in gold, and then I've offset it, if you can just see, with a little bit of blue card just to give it a little bit of a shadow. And then I've got these two panels. Now let me get my ruler and double check those sizes for you. So this one is 2 3/4 by 8 1/4, and then the matte patterned paper is 7 7/8 by 2 1/2, and that's for both panels. I'm just going to pop them together with some glue. really simple. And that is our Christmas card done. Christmas card, Easter card done. Why did I say Christmas? Easter card done. Probably because I don't make an awful lot of Easter cards, so but this year I'm going to make a handful of them, and this I think is probably going to be one of my favourites to make. So making sure I've got everything the right way round. Let's lay that down on there. So this goes top to bottom, completely covers that front panel like that. Let's get that and make sure we push all that down. The gold card does tend to curl ever so slightly when it's wet, so I want to make sure I've given it a good push into the backing card. So there's that one done, and then let's do this one as well. So that one's going to go on there. So grabbing my glue, let's do the other side. I'm doing far more for Easter this year, I think, than I've done before. I mean, we always have a few decorations up, and have a family meal at Easter. But this year, I've made a lot more Easter decorations than I've ever made before. The house is like a second Christmas at the moment. So there we go. There's my glue on there. And we'll line that up very carefully. So there we go. And push that into the paper like that. Let's flip that over that way as well, so I can just push that all in on a nice flat surface like that. Okay, so that's the front of the card done as well. So I'm going to pop these on here like that with my bunny, but I think what I'm going to do, I might put one side and one the other, and I've got some foam pads to do that. So let me line that up. What I don't want to do is put it across all of the back of this. What I want to do is stay to one side and don't go any further than halfway at the most. So I'm sticking to this side, so trying to make sure that I'm well within halfway. Actually, that one might need moving over ever so slightly. Let's see if I can peel it off. Yes, didn't push it down just yet. So that's that one. Let's take the backing off, move that one out the way. These are just Poundland ones. I just find them really useful, and they're just a nice size as well. All right, so let's pop that back approximately where I want it to go, and then I can pop the bunny one down above it. Don't want it too close to the top. There we go. That should, yep, that's worked well there. And I'm going to do the same with this one, but I'm going to do it on this side, because I think what I want to do is to have it open different sides like that. So I'm going to put all my on this side. So let's get some foam pads down, again staying away from the halfway mark. Get these down on there. I think 6 is enough for this. These are really sticky, so I think 6 will be more than enough to hold this in place. like that. And I think we're nearly done. Right, let's hold that down, line this up. So these are just for your information, but it will depend obviously on what size toppers you're using. But these are 3 3¼ inch by 3¼ inch. Yeah, 3¼ inch by 3¼ inch on there. And that is my card complete. And you can then, I'm not sure what I'm going to do for where to write. I might put a panel here which says Happy Easter to and from, or I might just save it and do it on the back. Maybe get a nice piece of that card, pop it on the back with a nice panel of white. Haven't quite decided yet. I wanted to wait till it was finished and then make that decision. And that is an A5 card, so just shy of A5 card, because we cut that 1/4 inch off at the one end. But I really like that, actually. I'm glad I did it. It's come out much better than I even thought it would. And the mechanism works beautifully. Let me just show you. So there's Bunny hiding away, and then we'll reveal him. Hide him away and reveal him. And it matches, matches perfectly with our bunny on the front, which is decoupaged up. Anyway, right, so there we go, my Easter card for this year. So I've got my next lot of decoupage to do. Here it is, and I'm going to have a play and see what background papers I'm going to use with this one. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.